Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Beyond Virtual Reality's bundle of November 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By visiting links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have The Break-In, a game where burglary transforms into a thrilling cooperative adventure, offering a unique blend of action and simulation. You, along with 3 other friends, can engage in co-op play featuring both VR and non-VR modes, all in the pursuit of the game's tagline, steal everything, even the people. Presently, The Break-In features 4 levels with randomized challenges, urging you to infiltrate suburban houses, stores, and malls. Boasting 13 gear items, 5 getaway vehicles, and over 500 stealable items, the game promises dynamism and unpredictability. Supporting both VR and non-VR crossplay, the game maximizes immersion and ensures a seamless experience, regardless of your preferred mode. Providing you with a full freedom of movement through a natural climbing system, The Break-In allows you to stealthily navigate various environments. Randomized level generation ensures each mission introduces new challenges, keeping room layouts, entry points, and NPCs unpredictable. The game provides plenty of humor, engaging experience, and a super fun and silly physics, akin to a burglary phasmophobia. Special thief equipment, including ladders and climbing picks, adds a strategic layer to the thieving antics. The Break-In excels by offering a unique blend of entertainment, education, and unpredictability. As developers continue to refine and expand the game based on your feedback, it stands as a testament to the potential of community-driven game development. If you're on the lookout for a co-op burglary game that seamlessly combines action with a touch of chaos, The Break-In might just be that exhilarating heist you've been waiting for. And number 2 we have Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu, a game where you embark on a martial arts odyssey, engaging in symmetric physics-based combat against a diverse array of opponents. The game's core features include a variety of scenes inspired by classic martial arts movie, with 40 unique characters each possessing distinct fighting styles, special moves, and backstories. The immersive gameplay encourages players to master the art of redirecting opponents' energy, providing a dynamic and strategic combat experience. The integration of full body tracking allows players to control both legs during combat, introducing dynamic moves such as front kicks and knee strikes. Dragon Fist's success is further highlighted by its integration with LIV, enabling players to insert themselves into the game and create content showcasing their real-world movements. Additionally, B-Haptics integration ensures players can feel the impact of every kick, punch, and special ability. The overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam emphasize the game's success in delivering an engaging and enjoyable virtual reality kung fu experience. Players have praised Dragon Fist for its fitness benefits, with one user reporting improved physical speed, stamina, and endurance. As Dragon Fist continues to impress the gaming community, the developer hints at future updates, potentially introducing weapons and a multiplayer mode. The anticipation for these additions underscores the game's position as a must-play title, combining immersive gameplay, diverse characters, and a physics-based combat system. Whether you're a martial arts enthusiast or a virtual reality gamer, Dragon Fist offers an exhilarating journey into the world of kung fu combat. And number 3 we have Drunkn Bar Fight, a VR game that delivers exactly what its title promises. You walk into a bar, find a patron, and start a chaotic physics-based brawl. There is no complex premise. It is simply about stepping into the shoes of a drunken idiot and letting the commotion unravel. You begin against a single opponent, but the action quickly ramps up, forcing you to frantically flail your arms, dodge incoming attacks, and eventually take on multiple people, turning the game into a surprising workout. The mayhem is amplified by the environment. Every bar is stocked with objects you can use to aid your brawling, from standard bottles and glasses to unorthodox items like darts. Hitting one patron with another makes for some truly hectic, laugh-out-loud moments. However, this silliness is the game's primary engine, and you might find the experience soon becoming stale. There's virtually no skill involved. Forget blocking or special moves. It is entirely about getting in and giving someone a kicking. While the presentation is merely acceptable, the hilarious ragdoll physics of the patrons provide an extra layer of comedy that helps you overlook the underpowered graphics. The biggest struggle you will face is the awful control scheme and movement. Since the game must be played standing up, movement requires you to turn your entire body to move left or right. This doesn't feel natural and frequently causes tracking issues, leading to unwanted beatings. More critically, the game demands a huge play area, or you risk hitting the wall, even with the headset. If you plan to play this, you need to take space into account. Drunkn Bar Fight shines most in its couch co-op potential, offering great laughs when you show it to friends. How long you play depends entirely on how long the game's simple, chaotic silliness can amuse you. At number 4 we have Plastic Battlegrounds, a chaotic sandbox experience that puts you into the role of a little green plastic soldier, essentially bringing your childhood imagination of warring army men to life in virtual reality. Though the visuals are acknowledged to be rough and not the prettiest looking, the game's core principle is the compelling gameplay and charm trump cutting-edge graphics, a promise it largely fulfills. The game is split into 2 primary modes, the in-progress content and the star sandbox mode. The sandbox is where you can truly engage your creativity, pitting plastic factions against each other and setting up elaborate custom battles using various props. You can then experience this chaos from 2 perspectives. First, as a traditional VR first-person shooter where solid gunplay and movement, enhanced by a grappling hook for tactical advantage, feel great. There's a genuine joy in ducking behind a Rubik's Cube while watching miniature warfare unfold, complete with flying plastic limbs and buzzing helicopters. The second perspective is the Godzilla view, allowing you to switch back to human size. This is a wonderfully dumb and fun inclusion, granting you the freedom to stomp around the battlefield, swatting helicopters, and chucking tanks like toys. This physics-based mayhem, where you're encouraged to pick up enemy heads or swing from vehicles, reinforces the game's over-the-top playful nature. Currently in early access, the game suffers from rough visuals and performance drops, especially when spawning many units. However, the foundation is solid, a unique premise, fun mechanics, and active development team. If you're a VR player looking for a highly creative, chaotic sandbox experience that prioritizes fun and freedom over polish, Plastic Battlegrounds is bursting with potential and heart, making it a worthy pick in the bundle. At number 5 we have Sail, an open-world multiplayer VR pirate game that delivers the exhilarating fantasy of sailing, plundering, and battling on the high seas, often compared to a virtual reality Sea of Thieves. You're invited to rally your crew, customize your look with patches and jackets, and seek fortune across mysterious islands. The experience is rich with features, offering social lobbies, a rewarding XP and leveling system, and complex activities like treasure hunting that involve solving riddles and puzzles. Combat is twofold, exhilarating ship-to-ship battles using your cannons and crew, or fierce PvP and PvE duels on land with your weapon of choice. The exciting extraction game mode adds high stakes, requiring you to outwit other crews for glory, but you only keep the loot if you make it out alive. The premise has earned the game a very positive review on Steam, but you must be warned, Sail is currently in early access and is notoriously janky. Dedicated players note that while the concept is fun, the execution is hampered by technical flaws. You will struggle with fundamental VR mechanics, as weapon offense do not lock to your hands, and grabbing inventory items is nearly impossible due to prioritizing other grab points. Movement on islands is inconsistent, requiring constant jumping. Furthermore, solo play is significantly ruined by a mechanic that automatically sinks your ship if you die alone. The biggest point of controversy you'll encounter is the game's decision to lock most cosmetics behind a paid special currency, which feels exploitative in a paid early access title. If you're willing to tolerate these major control issues and the monetization choices for the sake of an unparalleled VR pirate setting, you may find the charm and community infectious. But proceed with caution. At number 6 we have Frenzy VR, an action fighter and sandbox playground focused entirely on destruction and interactive environments in virtual reality. You're dropped into fully destructible maps, like offices and prisons, where you can use any object as a weapon to cause mayhem against ragdoll enemies. The developers promise a deep story mode with lore, missions, and boss fights against a corrupt Reborn company, alongside free play modes for unlimited creativity. The core premise, smashing enemies through furniture and watching it shatter, is deeply satisfying, filling a strong need for a good VR melee brawler. However, you must be prepared for the game's overwhelming jankiness, which resulted in mixed reviews. Critics frequently feel the game is closer to a tech demo than a polished title. The core melee combat is a frustrating slog. Weapons lack unique weight or feel, and enemies barely react to strikes, making it nearly impossible to interrupt their attacks. Furthermore, the physics can be inconsistent, and the guns are often buggy and unreliable, especially on certain platforms like the Valve Index. The overall experience is hampered by a lack of content. The story is short, and a perceived lack of developer support, with players noting the game seems to have been left in early access for years while a sequel is being made. While Frenzy VR offers chaotic fun and the satisfaction of physics-based destruction, its current state makes it difficult to recommend to play. You may enjoy it for the short bursts of mayhem it provides, but until the combat and core interactions are significantly improved and updated, you'll likely find the experience short, repetitive, and often broken. At number 7 we have Pixel Ripped 1978, an Atari adventure, a love letter to the Atari era. The game's core gimmick is bouncing between two worlds. You play as programmer Barbara Bug Rivers in her Atari office, tackling challenges on a console, and then jump into the game world as the hero, Dot, to unlock progress for Bug. This constant shift between the real world and the game world remains enjoyable and provides a unique VR concept. You'll find that the game shines best when it embraces absurdity and creativity. The boss fights are described as incredibly inventive, taking place in Bug's memories and forcing you to use all your VR skills in a pseudo 2D/3D format. Furthermore, the last third of the game, including a standout D&D inspired level and a lead up to the ending, is fantastic and is often cited as making up for the lackluster start. However, you must be prepared for the game's frustrations. As Dot, you're confined to retro-inspired titles created specifically for this game, which often feature repetitive, shallow shooting and bland level design. The real world also becomes a slog. Bug's time at Atari is constantly interrupted by an overabundance of phone calls and co-workers repeating the same few lines. Minor glitches, such as needed floppy disks disappearing or landing out of reach, can force you to restart and add unnecessary frustration to the puzzles. If you possess a strong sense of nostalgia for the Atari period, Pixel Ripped 1978 offers a fun, creative, and unique VR experience. The concept is excellent, but its flawed execution, namely the repetitive gameplay and real-world interruptions, means your enjoyment may vary unless you're truly dedicated to the retro theme. At number 8 we have Venture's Gauntlet, the ultimate VR fitness obstacle course. This VR game is precisely what it claims to be, the most physically demanding parkour and assault course experience currently available in VR, blending high-end fitness with thrilling adventure. The premise challenges you to prove your skills and tenacity to the aging billionaire Adam Venture across 9 intense stages inspired by the Scottish Highlands. Powered by Unreal Engine, you are treated to breathtaking visuals, complete with dynamic weather and titanic cliffs, making your workout a beautiful and immersive journey. The game is an excellent calorie burner, and a fantastic way to work up a sweat while having fun. You'll find yourself running, climbing, swinging, and ziplining through courses filled with deadly lasers and killer drones. The variety of challenges, combining platforming, climbing, and occasional shooting, keeps you engaged, ensuring every session is an intense, full-body workout. For fitness fanatics, True Motion VR arm swing locomotion system and online leaderboards offer a perfect avenue to constantly challenge yourself and compete for the best times. However, you should proceed with caution regarding the game's polish and specific hardware support. The experience is often hampered by technical flaws. You may encounter bugs, soft locks, and occasionally frustrating grab mechanics that require slowing down your momentum. Crucially, if you use a Valve Index, you must be aware of reports claiming the game is virtually unplayable due to major unaddressed issues with controller drift and hand positioning. Additionally, the lack of mid-stage save is a significant hurdle, as dying forces you to restart long courses, potentially making progress a test of pure endurance rather than skill. Venture's Gauntlet offers a fantastic fitness foundation, but you may need to tolerate jankiness and potential hardware issues. At number 9 we have Arcaxer, an intriguing VR action RPG and dungeon crawler that successfully bridges the gap between traditional turn-based combat and the immersive demands of virtual reality. The central gameplay loop involves ascending a massive, randomly generated dungeon called the Stack. On your turn, you're physically engaged. You must hack and slash, fire weapons, or sling hacks or spells by aiming at the moving enemies, called toxins. When your turn ends, you have to move your body to physically dodge incoming enemy attacks, transforming a typically sedentary genre into a genuine physical challenge. The combat system remains fresh thanks to smart enemy design. Flying enemies force you to use ranged attacks, while quick-moving grounded enemies are better handled with melee. This war of attrition demands careful resource management, since healing is limited, making every encounter count before a multi-phase boss fight that requires quick shifting and body contortions to survive. Adding levity to the challenge is the game's zany, fourth-wall breaking comedy and simple plot hook, ascending the stack to discover secrets. You'll encounter eccentric funny NPCs and shopkeepers who love to crack jokes. This goofy tone extends to the dungeons, which are platter of internet memes and feature bizarre enemies like rubber clowns. While the hub city provides expected RPG services like buying items and minigames to increase stats, and you can switch between first-person and a more practical third-person isometric camera for better navigation, the randomly generated dungeons can become dull, and the story is only passable. Arcaxer is recommended if you value a unique, funny script and an addicting combat system that perfectly adapts turn-based mechanics to VR, even if you must overlook bland exploration and mixed visual quality. At number 10 we have Elements Divided, an action-packed VR brawler that lets you control the 4 primal elements: water, fire, earth, and air, closely channeling the chaotic, elemental combat fantasy of Avatar: The Last Airbender. While not an official game, it does an admirable job of translating elemental power into VR combat, providing fast-paced multiplayer matches that can work up a sweat. The game is primarily focused on multiplayer battles. The core loop requires you to choose and master one element, which grants you 3 base moves and allows you to level up to unlock unique movement abilities. This mastery is crucial. Initial runs with the new element feel sluggish, but once you unlock skills like airbending into a glider or a high-speed wheel, movement becomes easy, fluid, and considerably fun. Without these tactical moves, you'll feel completely outmatched, making the initial investment important. Multiplayer offers a few modes, though the best are stock and time matches, which keep you constantly involved. The rounds mode is less engaging, as dying early forces you to sit out the rest of the fight. Once you have your skills, the combat begins to flow, allowing for intense duels where you can knock opponents off the arena or engage in fast-paced brawls. If you're a VR player looking for a frenetic, skill-based brawler and are willing to put in a couple of rounds to unlock the necessary movement abilities, Elements Divided is an incredibly cool and surprisingly fun addition to the genre. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle dropped like a mixed bag of VR lineup. Some fun chaos, some jank, a couple of legit gems. You've got Kung Fu throwdowns, unhinged break-ins, drunk bar brawls, and a grab bag of lesser-known experiments. In my opinion, this is not one of Humble's legendary VR drops, but if you're starving for new headset content or want to support a good cause, it's a low-risk buy. Grab it for the novelty kicks, and hope one of these titles crit hits your library. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.